Yes. So what's happening here? What is this particular procedure doing? Aru?
Yeah, actually I'm trying with, I don't have that SAS, so I'm trying with the normal SAS, which is a logical SAS.
9.2 is it?
It is probably 9, not 9.2.
Okay.
No, I think the output is huge, it is 6.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, Mallikarjun, I guess you missed a little bit of the discussion that we are having. The idea was, what do we do to extract the list of all data sets, the details of all the data sets that are saved in a particular library. So what we do is, we just mention the library name, the way we have mentioned it here earlier also, and we do not specify the name of any particular data set, but we say underscore all underscore. So what this does is, on executing this code, this is the result that we get, yeah? And what is happening here is if you see it's giving the details of the list of all files, if you see here, so you get to know that there are totally 28 data sets that are saved in this particular library. And you get the further details of what is the file size and when the last modified date of it. And similarly, when you scroll down, you get the content details of each and every file that is there in this library. Getting it? So, yeah. So, in case of the data set called catalog, how many variables are there? There are 98 variables and we have 48,000. The result that you get on using underscore all underscore with your proc contents, right? So in case you do not want such a detailed report, wherein, see if you note here, it is giving you the list of file names and also the details of the contents of each and every file, right? For example, you don't want to know the details of files, but you just want a list of files. So what you do is, you write nodes, NODS, which is nothing but no details. And I run the code again. So guys, anybody, what is the shortcut to run a selected set of code? Mallikarjun? What's the shortcut? Steve?
Is it var?
Sorry, come again?
Var?
No, it's F3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? What you do is you just select it. Yeah, that's right, Mallikarjun, it's F3. What you do is you select the code and just use F3. Yeah, so I've got the result here. So what's happening, if you see, now you again have the similar result, but the further details of the contents of each and every file is not there, but you're just getting a list of all the files that are there in a particular library. Got it? Yeah. Yeah, so Mallikarjun, would you mind sharing your screen with the rest so that we get to see as to how you're working out these examples? Use the control. So I hope the rest have got the result. Yes. So go to file, Yeah, so what do you need to do is go to file. Is there some problem with the system there? So Steve, have you got the result? The way you were seeing it on my screen?
Yes, I have the result.
Okay. Okay, not to worry, Mallikarjun. I guess it's taking quite a bit of time on your system. It could be because of the internet speed also. So I hope you also got the result.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Maybe, but I got it.
Okay. Cool. Had done on Proc Contents. So today we've gone ahead and explored further to options. Yes. So after what else did we? What other procedure did we do in our previous session?
The proc print?
Yes. Yeah. That's right. So what we did was a procedure called as proc print. What does this procedure do? What does proc print do?
Is the data on the screen? The output window?
Yes, it gives you the print view of the data set, of whichever you mention, right? So, if you could tell me, if I want to pick only 3 variables out of 10 variables in my data set and give a print of that particular only those set of 3 variables, what should I do? What option should I use? I guess we did this in the last session.
Where then variable name?
Sorry?
Okay. Where the name of the variable?
Exactly, that's right. So, let's continue. Run. So this will give a print view of all the values that are there in this particular data set. Yeah? So using where you can just select those certain set of variables that you want to be printed in your result. Right? Okay. So did we do any other procedure in the previous class? Arup? Steve? Did we cover any other procedure?
I don't believe we did. I think we just did contents and print.
Yes, that's right. So we just touched with proc contents and proc print. Okay, I think this proc print is going to take a lot longer time to pull out the result. In the meantime, okay, in data steps, what did we see? If you could just quickly give a brief. Steve? Steve, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the variables, the input, and the data lines.
Right, we did that. And so when you're assigning the name to a particular data set, what are the things that you need to keep in your mind? That is, what are the rules to assign when you assign a data set name?
It cannot start with a number.
Yes.
It can only use numbers, undersigns, and characters.
Yes.
Length of 32 characters.
Yes, that's right. And how about variable names?
The same applies to variable names.
Exactly. So, where will this particular data set be stored? If I write a simple code like this, yeah, so just, if I have a data set which is stored like this, so where is this data set? Is this a valid name first of all? Arup? Is this a valid name?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so where is this dataset getting saved? In which library?
It's in one library. It's in 21.
Yeah, so by default. So in case I need not mention explicitly, just by mentioning this, that's it. But if I do this, then it's getting saved in the specified library, right?
Right.
Yeah. And the same rules are applicable when you assign a new variable name as well. Alright? So today what we'll see, I'll just take this thing here. Okay. We'll just quickly create a sample data set. Okay, you all will help me with the code to create a data set which looks like this. Okay. Okay, I hope you are able to see my desktop.
Yeah.
Okay. Mallikarjun, if you could just check you're able to hear me? You can just check your connectivity or something, or your internet connection. Yes. Okay, now we can see it. Great. Yeah. So can you quickly write a code to create a data which looks like this? Yeah. So, is this clear now? So how many variables and how many observations are there in this data set? Yes guys? How many variables and how many observations are there in the data set?
6 variables, 4 data sets, 4
4
observations.
observations. Yeah? 6 variables and 4 observations in this data set. Right. So now, I guess you can help me with the code. Steve, you could help me with the code. Okay. Is this valid?
Yes.
Okay.
Semicolon.
Yep.
Then input.
Okay.
Then the name of the variables, ID, zone,
Yep.
product with a dollar sign,
Okay.
CP, SP, and DOS.
Okay, so just going back here, I want this to be labeled as data save. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is it?
Dollar is also there at zone.
Zone, yes, because even zone is a character value, right? So now, am I right or should I do something else?
the in format and format for the dates.
Exactly. So I say in format
Yes.
I'm just using this. Then I say format. Am I right?
I believe so.
Okay. What next?
The label.
Am I right now?
You need a single quote before and after data set.
Yes, because this needs to be it has to be either in single quotes or in double quotes. Any one of them is okay as long as you use the same at the beginning as well as at the end. Okay. So now can I say data lines? Just copy paste this so that it's easier. Yeah. So Arup, can you tell me if this set of code is right? Will this execute it properly?
Yeah, it is okay.
Okay.
And one thing, just after this dollar symbol in the input line, does it need to have a space between the name and the dollar?
No,
Or
it's
it is
continuous.
okay?
Well, you're asking in data lines, right? Or here?
There are no, input.
No, not required. It can be like this.
Okay.
No? So, Mallikarjun, you think this, yes, Mallikarjun, tell me.
So there are some special symbols here that because this CP and SP has comma, so we need to inform us.
Yeah, so what should you do there? Yes, so Mallikarjun has got a question here. He's asking how do you make sure that ID has got unique values, right? So, if, when you're doing your data entry, Mallikarjun, you cannot have a check there, but yes, going in the next step we'll see, there are a lot of instances, set of codes which will help you check whether you have a unique set of value or not, right? And, as you know, there is something called as Proc SQL also, Proc SQL, where you can write a SQL queries in SAS. So when we'll reach that stage, I'll be writing any duplicate values. But in this case, if you want to check if any set of variable is having a duplicate value or not, you can do that by using this option called as load up along with your proc dot. And there are a lot of other options like first dot, last dot, which we'll be seeing as we go through the session. Does that clarify your doubt, Mallikarjun? Yeah? Is that clear, Malik? Okay, so Steve, is this set of code right?
You'll need another in format dollar for the dollar signs and the commas.
Exactly. So I need to say CP dollar 6 dot, right? $. So is it clear why it is fixed dot?
For 6 characters?
Yeah. So now I will leave it at this. I will not mention this in my format statement. Will this be executed properly? Arup?
Yeah, it will execute properly, but it won't be able to show it.
Yes. So let's see what is going to happen. Let's see. I hope at the same time you are writing it on your systems and checking out the results. Yeah, that's good. Yes. So you have the result here? I hope all of you are getting it in the same fashion. Steve, you got the result for this code?
I did get the result, but I'm getting a no data for the date, the data service. I have a period or a dot in that column.
Okay, so just make sure the in format that you specify has to be in sync with the way you're entering it. For example, here I've given it as date, month, and year. And make sure you're using slashes and not a hyphen. Because it will, as you're using it on your desktop machine, I'm not be able to look at it. Otherwise, is it possible that you connect from there and share your screen, Steve?
That's not the way I have it set up currently.
Okay, no, don't have to worry then. You can just make sure that, if you're giving it as, if I'm entering it as 0, 1 and 1, 2, then I have to make this as MMDDYY. Okay, so just make sure whatever type of informat or format is specified, especially the informat that is specified, your data should be presented in the same way.
Okay.
So, Arup, you got the result?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. $6 or $10, whatever, for the other two variables. Because what's going to happen is it will read it, but the way it is represented in your data, it will not be having a dollar symbol or a comma separator. In case you want to have that, then you just have to mention this part, the code in your format statement as well. Yeah? Okay, so please raise your hands. Those of you who have successfully executed this piece of code. You can raise your hand on your WebEx. If you have executed this piece of code, just raise your hand. Okay, good. Mullikarjun, how about you? Okay, I guess it's because of the your internet speed that is taking a little longer. Arup, executed?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have executed.
okay, good. So is this clear so far? Okay. So now what we'll do is I want you all to create a copy of this data set, right? So how will you be doing that? How do I create? So I use a slash and asterisk to comment any of my codes or even make comments to the program. Okay. So create a copy of a data set. How do we do that? Can we go ahead? Is everybody here with me? Yes? Okay. So again, now tell me, is this creating a copy of a data set going to be a proc step or a data step? Logically. Yes, anybody? Arup? Is this going to be a data step or a proc step?
It should be proc step.
Okay, you say it should be a proc step. Steve, what do you say?
I think it's a good question. Since you're dealing with data, I would think it would be in a data set, but since you're creating a copy, it sounds like it could be a proc step.
Okay, so that's good and that's quite right as well. So in case of creating a copy of a data set, what was frequently used is a data set. You can create a copy of a data set using a data set. At the same time, you can also create a copy of a data set using a proc step. But in your proc copy, which we'll be seeing a little later, you will be able to copy files conveniently, especially multiple files conveniently from one library to the other. Whereas in case wherein you want to make a simple copy within the same library, you want to give a different name and save it, create a copy of the data set, you use a data step. So here we'll see firstly, how do we use a data set to create a copy of a data set? Yeah? So I say data. Right? Always remember, I'll just, but whatever name you specify is the destination file or data set. Okay? You close this and then you say set and you specify the source file or data set name. So then, as always, just say run. So this simple piece of code will create a copy of the file that you mention in your set statement, that is a source file, into your destination. Yeah. So now I want to create a copy of my data set called sample1 and name it as copy underscore sample. So how will my code look? Is the question clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you please take a crack, try writing this code? The syntax is here. I would say data. What will be here? What will be the file name here? Sample1 or copy underscore sample?
Copy underscore sample.
So my destination is copy underscore sample. Therefore, I give the name here, data, copy underscore sample. Then I write a set statement. Set. What's my source file? My source file is sample1. Let's say run. Right? So now let's execute this. can take a look at the code here and try it on your systems as well. Those of you who have executed this piece of code can raise your hand on WebEx. Yeah. So how do we check? What I can do is, since I've created it in work, I just click on work library. Yeah. So what do you see here? There are two files. One is sample1 and the other is copy underscore sample. So copy of sample1 has been successfully created in your work library. So guys, please make sure that you're executing it at your end as well. We are not in a hurry. What's very important is that you all try writing each and every code. So those of you who are done with this code, just give a small assignment here. So create a copy of dataset bank under T1 has in work library. Are we on the same page? Any doubt? Any doubts here? Arup, Mallikarjun, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you can try the next one. And those of you are done with even executing or even writing the code, can just raise your hands on WebEx or let me know. Just raise your hands on WebEx once you are done with writing the code, okay? Yes. Good. Mallikarjun, you have written the code? Okay, so now, yes guys, if you can just help me with this piece of code. So data, what will be my destination dataset name? Arup, what will be the destination dataset name?
What's the bank?
Yeah, so I can write it as work.bank_copy, or I can just write it as bank_copy also, because by default it will be into work. Yes. Okay. So the next line of code will be set ABA1.bank run. Right? Is this right, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So what will happen if I write it this way?
Give error because we don't have any library in bank or any dataset called bank in our work library.
Exactly. So what will happen is you will get an error which says that this particular dataset does not exist in work, because by default it will try and look for this dataset in work library, which it will not find. So it will give you an error. Therefore, it has to be ABA1.bank. Okay. So when I run this piece of code, let's see what will be the result. So that I have cross-checked the copied file in your work library. So a copy is supposed to be created here. Just refresh this. How do I refresh the library? Right click on refresh. Select a library, then right click and say refresh. You will get the refresh list. So you see there is a dataset called bank copy, which is now in your work library. Is that clear? Yes, guys. Now you know how to create a copy of a dataset. Yes. Okay. But so what we'll now do, now that we have created a copy, right, I want to retain only a certain set of variables from sample 1. For example, in how many variables are there in sample 1 dataset? There are 6 variables. Am I right? So out of the 6 variables, I want to retain only ID, product, and SP. Only these 3 variables I want to retain in a new data set. Right? So what will I be doing there? Again, I'll be using same simple procedure of data and set statement. Data, destination. So I'll say sample underscore extract. Alright? Then I'll say set sample 1 run. So what is this code going to do? This is again going to create a copy of sample 1 into sample underscore extract. Correct? But here we don't want all the variables which are there in sample 1, but we want only certain specific list of variables. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this option called as keep. Okay? Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say keep equals, I'm going to specify the variable name, the list of them which I want to retain in this new data set called sample underscore extract. Keep is equal to ID, Which are the other ones which we want to retain? Product and DOS. Am I right? So I write this. I'm writing a keep statement with my data set, right? Just execute it. Please make sure you are parallelly trying it along with me. So what we're doing is we're writing data, the destination file name, and then we're saying keep equals the set of variables that you want to retain in this new data set source file. Alright. So do you guys get the result? So what do you see here? In this particular data set, there are only 3 variables out of 6. Got it? Any doubts here?
Right.
Yeah? Okay. So the next question. Now is this clear? No doubts here, I hope?
It's clear.
Okay. So now I guess you all should be able to do this. Okay, so how can I write a code for this question? The question is, I want you all to create a data set called sample underscore 2, which will be a copy of sample 1. But the sample underscore 2 is going to have all variables except for DOS, that is date of sale. So your sample underscore 2 will have ID, zone, product, CP and SP. Okay. So, Mallikarjun, I guess you missed the part what we were discussing a little before this. What we are trying to do is, we have seen how to create a copy of a data set using data and set statement, right? So, in case you want to create a copy, but you do not want to have all the variables which are there in the source data set. You want to have only certain specific variables. So, for example, out of sample 1 data set which has 6 variables, we want to retain only ID, product and date of sale into the new data set called sample underscore extract, which we are creating, right? So that is where we use keep option. You can see we are using it with the data statement. Data, the destination file, keep is equal to the list of all variables which you want to retain. Then set source file. Similarly, the way we are using keep, we can use drop as well. So that is what I want you to try in the second question, wherein you all will be creating a copy of sample 1 or sample underscore 2, which will have all variables except for date of sale. Is that clear, Mallikarjun? Yeah? Yes, guys, I hope you are trying it out. Those of you who execute this code can just raise your hands for this question. Good. Swaroop, you got the result?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, how about you?
Yes.
Okay. So, can anybody help me with the code, please? Data? Steve?
Exactly. Yes, instead of keep, we'll keep it drop, and then the variable list is.
Okay, so I'm going to write sample underscore 2. Then I'm going to say drop equals DOS. So what I'm using is, I'm using a drop option rather than using keep and provide a list of 5 variables. It is easier and simpler to use drop and just use one variable there. Right? Set sample 1 run. Isn't this the code? Now tell me if this set of code will be executed properly or not. So what will be the result of this one? Will I get the correct result or will I get an error? What will happen?
Based on what we know so far, I think it would give you an error.
Okay. So just try it out. Similarly, try using keep also here. So just try these 2 sets of codes and let me know the result. Do you get an error? Does it get executed properly? Does anything change in your source file? Or the changes are applicable only in the destination file? Try it out.
It's working. So the result is same.
The result is the same. Okay. Mallikarjun, what do you say? Okay. So Steve, does it get executed?
Looks like it did.
Yes. So what happens is, you can use your drop and your keep options or statements in both data statement as well as in stress set statement, right? You will get the same result. So where is the difference? Can anybody think of it? I mean, think of how is it getting processed? Is there any difference at all even in processing? The result is the same. That is what we have seen just now. Correct? So let me just execute this. Yeah. So can you tell me as to is there any difference in the way it executes the codes? Yeah.
I think in the second case it first.
Yes, I guess. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, let's say you wish to keep DOS Then in the second case, it will just keep DOS and then copy it to the subgroup.
Right.
Copy first. In the other case, if you copy the entire thing, then it will be given from the copy. Given from the copy or keep from the copy.
Right. So the result will be the same in both the cases. There are no changes going to happen on your source file. Your source file is going to remain intact. But when we talk about the way it gets executed, right? So what happens when you write your keep or your drop with your set statement is, firstly, it based on the statement. Assume that you are using a drop. So it's going to drop that particular variable and then copy the rest of it into your destination file. Whereas if you use it in your data statement, all the data from your source is going to get copied into your destination file, and then whatever is supposed to be kept or dropped will be executed accordingly. Right? So it hardly makes any difference, but the difference is only the way it processes it. Otherwise, the result is the same. Is this clear, guys? Everyone? Any doubts so far?
No, makes sense.
Okay. So this is how you retain, or this is how we manipulate data. Now what we have seen is just as to how do we keep certain set of variables, or how do we drop certain variables from a data set. Alright? In case I have to do a similar thing with my observations, logically what should I be doing? We'll be dealing with it a little later though, but it just, since that we're discussing how do we retain or only a certain set of variables. Similarly, if I want to do a similar thing with my observations, logically what should I be doing? Yes, anybody can answer this. Arup, Steve, Malik?
I'm not sure what you mean by observations.
Observations is the records. See here, what we have done is, so there are 6 variables here, am I right? Out of which we retain only 3 or 2 or 4 or 5 based on the requirement, right? So now what I'm asking is, logically what should I do if I want to retain only certain set of observations? For example, I want to keep only the first 3 observations or first 2 observations, or those observations belonging to zone east, something of the sort. Is that clear now, Steve?
Yes, I understand the question. Don't know how to solve it though.
Okay, just think about it. Arup?
I understand the question.
Okay, so
Column selection?
yes, I mean, you're quite close. What we'll be doing is that we'll be covering when we come to, we need to be checking certain conditions, right? So that is what we'll be doing in a conditional statement. For example, we want to extract only those observations which belong to zone east, right? So that is where I say if the value is equal to east, if zone is equal to east, or I say where zone is equal to east, right? So that we'll see as we go ahead and deal with conditional statements. Okay? So, is that clear? We'll check out the code a little later. Since we're discussing how to deal with variables, I just thought I'll let you all know about how do we do with observations as well. Okay? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now we'll further make certain small changes into manipulation in our data set. Okay? So, I want to, okay, so Mallikarjun, I hope you didn't miss anything. Create data set. Modify. Was the question clear? Can anybody explain this? Was this question clear? What should I do if I want to create a dataset called sample underscore modify? Again, needless to mention that we are going to create this from a source file sample one. And we want to rename the value of a variable. So we have this variable called product, am I right? So I want to rename it to product underscore ID. So again, this will be a data set, correct? Because we're going to modify, make some changes to a data destination file. Alright. And then I say set source file. Is this right? And then I say rename. I use a rename statement. Rename the old variable name. What is the old variable name? What's the old variable name?
Product.
Yeah. Product equals product underscore ID. Try executing this code, please. Execute it. You can please raise your hands once you are done with executing this code. Let me know if you are not getting any error or if it's executing perfectly fine. Malikajan? Okay. So Steve, you got the result?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I have a question here.
Yes, please.
We have now made a copy of the data set and then rename a variable actually.
Right.
And we do this without making a copy of the existing data set.
Yes.
The name of the variable.
Yes, so tell me, can anybody answer this question? I can take a crack at it. The question is, we are creating a new data set and renaming the variable name there, right? Currently. What do I do if I want to rename the value of a variable, the name of a variable in the same data set? Yes, Steve?
Would you leave off the set statement and just use the rename?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Would you start with the data, the name of the data set, and then rename?
Not really. The structure of the code, that is the data set rename, is going to remain the same. What do you need to do here? What happens if I type this? What will happen here? In this case, what's going to happen?
You give the same data file as in the set.
Yes. This is basically going to overwrite your this is going to overwrite your source file. So, but you need to be cautious when you're doing this because your original data is going to get overwritten. Right?
Let's maybe overwrite the data once again, or just make the change in the variable one.
Right? Yeah. Yes, sorry, come again?
Is it copy the data once again, or only just change the variable?
No, it's going to overwrite. Yeah, it's going to overwrite.
What is the data? What
Yeah.
is the data or the variable?
See, what's going to happen because you're just using a rename statement here, right? So it's going to overwrite and just change the variable name. The change is going to happen only on the variable name. The rest of it is going to remain the same. Right? For instance, I mean, as we go ahead, as I was telling you, there are a lot of conditional statements that you can use in your data and set. Right? So you can use a keep and drop also. Right? So if you club all of it, then the changes are going to happen accordingly. For example, if I say drop equals CP. So what's going to happen is now your sorry. What's going to happen here is your variable product is going to be renamed into product underscore ID, and the CP variable is going to be dropped. But since you have given the same name as your source file name, your sample one will not have CP at all. Getting it? Yes. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So similarly here you can, the way we are using rename, we can use label also. I mean, I'm just giving an example. So now, do not try this. Can anybody let me know if this code will execute properly or not?
I would think not, since product has been renamed to product ID.
Exactly. So since we are renaming the variable product to product ID, then in case we want to assign a label for that, then we cannot be giving it as product. It has to be product underscore ID. Okay? But otherwise, if we are doing it... Sorry?
What about changing the order of this to...
If you change the order, then it works. If you write it like this, yeah? If you write it like this here,
and this is the product, yeah. Then it should go there.
yeah, then it will. Why? It's a simple thing that, your SAS executes observation by observation, right? There's one more important thing for you all to make up. Please pay attention for a moment. If you notice, when we are creating this copy of a data set or going ahead, when we are doing any of our data steps, we haven't mentioned what is the beginning of the file or the end of the file. I mean, at what observation should it start executing, what is the last observation. Have you ever mentioned it here?
No, we have not.
Yeah, but it is still executing it for the entire data set. Am I right? Yes?
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah. So what happens is your SAS is designed, it works, it executes observation after observation. Yeah? Your code is executed one observation after the other, therefore it will execute it at the end of the file, and you don't have to specify end of file the way we do it in a lot of other programming languages. Okay? Is this clear? Can we go ahead, please? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, I hope you have I'm not executed it on my system. Assuming that you have done it at your end, otherwise let me just do it. Because it's just going to take some time while executing. Okay, so in the meantime, can anybody just do a quick recap of what we have done so far? Yeah, Mallikarjun, I guess you missed the last part what we were discussing, but I believe, Arup, if you can just recap whatever we have done so far.
Yeah, basically we have in the last few minutes we have learned how to create a new dataset from an existing one.
Yes.
By using some of the variable name or just retaining some of the variable name.
Yes.
Then we have also learned to rename a variable name of a existing dataset.
Yes.
Rename it, copy the dataset with changing some variable names.
Right.
Also, adding some label to a variable in the new dataset to create from an existing one.
Right. So I hope, Mallikarjun, say what we tried is we just tried renaming the variable name here. Okay, that's right, Arup. So can we move ahead from here? Yeah? Okay. So let's just, now that we know how to handle work around with variables, that is retain some of them and drop the rest of them, and even rename certain variable names and so on using your data and set statement. So what you notice here is any of your codes wherein you would be required to modify your data set, you would be using a data and set statement. And there are going to be a lot of other options based on your requirement which you'll be using. For instance, keep and drop we have used here. We have used rename, we have used label. So similarly, if you want to do a conditional check and extract only certain set of those observations which meet that condition, then that can also be done, which we'll see a little later. Yeah? So I'm just coming back to Proc Contents for a very simple thing. Proc Contents data. Let's make it sample 1 only. Okay, so let us change this to be one dot bank. I'm going to say first obs equals 10, obs equals 20. I'm not going to explain what first obs and obs are going to do, what is the function of them. Can you please execute this code on your system and let me know what does first obs and obs option do when you use a proc print. You can use the same data set that I'm using here, bank, but just make sure you're using first obs and obs the way I've written it here. So these are the options that go with proc print. These can be used with data and set statement also. We'll see how we can do that. And just let me know once you are done. And this is to explain what is first obs and obs. Yes, you're right. So it is used to extract a range of observations, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, Arup, did you get the result?
Yeah, I got it.
Malik? Yeah. Is this the result that you have got on your screen as well?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what does Firstobs specify? What does the option Firstobs do? Arup?
It starts from the tenth, let the first of the tenth. It starts printing from 10th observation.
Okay.
Obs represent the number of observation from the print from.
Okay. So here's a question. Steve, can you let me know if obs is equal to 20? Is this the number of observations that are expected to be extracted?
It's where the observations would stop. So in this case, it would start at 10 and end at 20.
Yeah. So just remember something that's very important. Your obs, whatever number goes with your obs, is not the number of observations, but it is the line number of the observation itself. Yeah. It is go on up to 20th observation. Okay. So, what are the total number of observations in this particular result? How many observations are extracted totally? 11, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to start from the 10th, yeah, and go on up to 20th, right? Okay. So I want you to try this. Tell me what will be the result of this. And when I give it as Firstobs equals $40. Okay. And what will be the result when I make it as Firstobs equals 20 and obs equals 50. Also, what will it be when I give Firstobs equals 10 and obs equals 10. I want you all to just try all these combinations. Even before you all try, can you logically tell me what will be the result of this? Steve, can you take a crack at it?
I would guess I would start at the first observation and end at the 20th.
Yes, that's right. So only when you mention only obs, that is the limiting value is equal to 20, or for instance, if I have mentioned it as 30 here, then it will extract all the observations from the beginning till observation number 30. Right? When you don't mention first obs, by default it takes it as starts from the first observation itself. Okay? So what happened in this case? Arup?
Which one? The second one.
Yeah, in this case where I'm giving Firstobs is equal to 40.
It's print everything from 40th observation.
Exactly. So it will start printing from 40th observation till the last observation which is there in the data set. Right? Yeah, that's right, Mallikarjun. So it's going to start printing from 40th till the end. What's going to happen in this case? In the case where I'm writing Firstobs is equal to 10 and obs is equal to 10.
It won't print anything.
Okay, so Steve, Mallikarjun, what would you say? When I give Firstobs is equal to 10 and obs is equal to 10, what's going to happen? Okay, Mallikarjun says only the 10 observations. Steve, what would you say?
That would be my guess as well.
Okay, So what's going to happen when you say first obs is equal to 10 and obs is equal to 10 is only the 10th observation will get printed. Okay?
Right.
Okay, so what's going to happen in this case? What will happen when I give first obs is equal to 20 and obs is equal to 15?
I thought you asked this one first in that time. So
Okay. Sorry.
So I answered that answer this.
Okay, so what will happen in this case? Steve? Arup says that nothing will be printed.
That would be my guess as well.
Nothing would be printed. Okay, Mallikarjun, what would you say? Okay, Mallikarjun says probably an error might be thrown. Well, that's right. In this case, you will get an error. And the error, can anybody execute this and go through the log and tell me what is the error? Please try this code. Execute it. Go through your log and let me know what is the error that it's throwing.
In a first obs option greater than obs option, no data to read from file.
Okay, so it gives you an error which says that your first obs option value is greater than the value that you have given in your obs. Yeah. So therefore it says that you cannot have a first obs value lesser than your obs value. Right? That's the error that it throws. So you cannot, therefore not be able to extract any value. Is this clear? So are we clear with first obs and obs, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So now this is the only code where we end up getting a error, whereas the rest of them will get executed. Right? Please try each one of them. Right? So when I execute this code, what happens is that I'm just getting only the 10th observation, correct? So when I execute this piece of code, how many observations will I have? When I execute the code where obs is equal to 30, I'll have 30 observations. Yeah. Now I'll rather have 30 observations, right? Because my last observation is going to be 30th. Yeah, so I have 30 observations, right? Similarly, okay, so there's one more option which we can explore here is that now if I want to know what are the total number of observations in the result that I'm getting, so I need to mention n and the semicolon after that. So what does that do? For example, I want to know how many observations are here, right? Wherein I don't know which is my last observation. So I do this. Your n will give you the number of observations in the result. This is going to take quite some time. So please try these codes with using an option n along with it, which will give you the count or the number of observations in the result. Yes, guys, got the results for this?
Yeah.
Okay, so what does n give you?
Number of observations in something.
Exactly. So now that you have got the result for this, what is this doing? In your print view, you are going to get only those set of observations which you specify with respect to the observation number using your Firstobs and Obs. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now what I want you guys to do is, in the meantime that this code is executing, what you can do is create a copy of dataset bank as bank underscore 40 containing observations 41 to 80 from dataset bank in ABA1 lib. Is this question clear? Guys, is the question clear that I've written here? Create a copy of dataset bank as bank 40 containing observations 41 to 80. Okay. How would you do this? Can you do this using a proc step firstly?
Not from what we know so far.
Yeah, so you cannot do it using a proc step, so you'll have to use your data and your set statement. What will be your destination file name? Bank underscore 40, right? And correct set will be ABA1 dot bank run. So, but a simple code like this will create a copy of the entire bank data set. But we do not want that. What do we want?
Just 41 through 80.
Yeah. So you will have to again use first OBS and OBS here. Right? So I'm going to use this. Now you're going to let me know which of this will get executed. Will both of it get executed or only one of them? Okay? Okay. So this is going to be 41 to 80. And this will be 51 to 80. Alright? So now, I want you also to execute it and let me know whether both the sets of codes will get executed or only one of them will get executed. And if the other is not getting executed, then what is the error? Yeah, Mallikarjun says that only one of them will get executed. Please try. So once you are done with it, please raise your hand and let me know the answer. Yes, anybody? Steve? You can let me know.
I'm running the second one now.
Okay. Yes. Anybody who can tell me? Both the codes get executed properly? How many of you will agree? Did you apply to your system? Arup?
No, actually, I am working with some other data. I don't have that one.
Okay. Then you can just use the sample data with just 1 and 2 as your first obs and obs. That's not a problem.
The second one is working. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Actually.
So, this set of code, does this get executed?
It seemed to execute, but it didn't limit it to just the 40 objects.
Yes. So, what happens is, even if it executes, it will not comprehend the first obs and obs option when you give it a data statement. Right? So, for you to be able to execute or read the first obs and obs accurately, you will have to use it only and only with the set statement. So, please remember that only this code will get executed properly as desired. The first code will get executed nonetheless, but just, the first obs are not comprehended in that case by your system. Okay? So remember, can you use keep and drop in both data and set statement? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes. So can you use first obs and obs in both data and set statement?
No.
You can use it only in your set statement. Alright? Can you use first obs and obs in proc step as well as data step? Yes, you got the question. Can I use first obs and obs option in a proc step as well as we were able to use it successfully in a proc step, and so were we in a data step where we use data and set. Correct? So I've got a question for you, which you all will try and figure it out on your own. You don't have to try it now. We'll go ahead with the next thing. So just make a note. I want you all to come back with an answer to can we use keep and drop with a proc statement as well as a data statement. Okay? Please make a note of this and we'll discuss this in the next session. Clear? The question is, can I use keep and drop options in both data step as well as proc step? When I say proc step, I'm meaning the proc print here. Okay? Can we go ahead? Guys? Can we proceed?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, then jump to the question. Okay. So clear so far with whatever options we have gone through?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, what will be the result of this code? You don't have to execute it. Just tell me what will be the result of this code.
It will print the product zone and CP variables in the sample one table.
Yes, that's right. So, this is this, your reference. Okay. So what do I have to do in case I want to print only those set of values where zone is equal to west? What should I be doing in order to get a result like that?
Have some sort of a conditional statement?
Yes, that's absolutely right. What we'll have to do is we'll have to use a conditional statement. So what is meant by conditional statement is again a simple condition which will get executed with a true result, either it's true or false. And based on whether the result is true or not, we will get the final result. Correct? So how do we do that? I'm just executing a previous statement to just see how the result would look like when you give Firstobs and Obs in your set statement. So if you see, you've got only 40 records when you use it in a set statement. Yeah. So coming back to your proc print, I have to use a conditional statement. Correct? So when we say conditional statements, there are two types of conditional statements in SAS. One is a where statement, and the other is if statement. And again under if you have else if and nested if, which we'll see later. Okay? So in this case, we'll use a simple, what should I write? Just take a glance at it. Simple, right? Zone is equal to east. Will I get the right result now? Tell me. Just by looking at the code. Yeah? Correct? This is the code.
Looks good.
So let's see if we'll get the desired result or not. How many of you will say that yes, we will get the desired result?
I'll say yes.
Okay. Yes. Malik, how about you? Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So Malika changes his vote from yes to no. Why is that so? Look at my log. I didn't get the result. Look at the log. What does it say? What is this part saying?
Zero observations.
There were 0 observations read from the data set work.sample1 where zone is equal to east, right? Why are there 0 observations? Do we have east in the data set? Yes, we do have. So we have created a data set. We have it. Exactly. So when you're checking the value, especially the string values, they are case sensitive, right? And we will look for east with a lowercase e, which is not there in the data set. Therefore, it will not match, right? So you have to make sure it is exactly the same. So now when you execute it, you will get the result. So remember something, when you're checking values which have character values, they are case sensitive when it comes to the value stored within a variable. See, the variable itself, I have written zone with a lowercase z. That does not make a difference. But I am checking against a certain value which is in quotes, that is case sensitive. So we have got the result here. Is that clear?
Can I do some partial mapping here, like let's say zone starting with E or ending with T? Or
so how would you do it? Think about it. Okay. Now can you guys help me create a data set which has got where zone is equal to east?
how can I use again?
Try it out. Just write a code and let me know. Okay. So the small piece of homework for you all as a group was asking, what do I do to extract based on my partial conditions, that is beginning with E or ending with T. Okay, I want you all to just try and figure it out. Okay, let's see if we can come up with a solution. Or else I'll share it with you. You can do that. Yes, Malika, I think you can give a try at it. Yeah. So guys, I want you to now create a data set. Create a data set. Sample underscore west containing zone as west only. Okay. Can I write a code for this? Stay, is it clear? Those of you who have written the code for this can just raise your hands and we'll discuss it. Okay. So Daru. I mean, even if you have not executed, that's okay, as long as you have written the code. So you all can just share it with me. How does it look like? Data. Sample underscore west. Right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I say set sample 1. Correct? Right, Mallikarjun? Go ahead. Please type, you can put your code in the chat. Yeah?
Well,
Then, where zone equals best run. Can I use it like this with single quotes? Is that right? That's absolutely right, Mallikarjun. Okay. Yeah. So now I execute this. Steve, I hope you're getting it.
Understand.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah. I hope I'm audible here.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yep. Yeah. So it's just still processing. Right? Yeah. So this is about using a simple conditional statement. Yeah. In your proc step as well as your data step. Okay, so what we have seen is a simple conditional statement called where, which we are using in a proc print statement where it's going to just pull out the result, those set of observations which meet the said condition, right? And similarly, we are also seeing as to how we can create a data set using the same condition in a data and set statement. That is a data set, right? Are we clear with this so far? Okay, so can anybody just quickly do a quick recap of whatever we have done for the day? Steve, if you could just start with it.
We learned how to copy data, data sets, and we learned how to do it using the keep and the drop.
Right.
We learned how to rename variables.
Yes. Right, and then the conditional statements, right?
Conditional statements, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is what we have done for the day, guys. One more very important thing what you all need to note of and what you need to remember is, we also did see as to how do we extract the details of list of all files that are saved in a particular library using the Proc Contents, right? We have seen the option called position. We checked out how do we do underscore all underscore, correct? So what you need to know is that there are a lot of options that go with these different procedures, right? What does this no odds do, right? It is nothing but no details. What does underscore all underscore do? Can you use no odds when you're not using underscore all underscore? Correct? Right? Can you use position elsewhere? Correct? And similarly, in a proc print, we saw there's something called as firstobs, obs. There is something called as in, right? There is something called as label, which we checked out in the last session. Correct? So there are a lot of options that go with these procedures. So what I would request you to do is just you can in the same package. You can go to a help menu here. Can you see this help menu? Right? There is SAS Enterprise Guide Help. Okay? So you can just go here and it is an index list of all procedures and options. So you can just slowly start reading up a couple of these options what we have discussed today. For example, drop and keep. Here we have used drop and keep as an option. But you can find out, can I use drop and keep as a statement? What I mean by statement is we are using rename as a statement here. Correct? So similarly, can I use a keep or a drop as a statement? Can I write it here at the end of this? If I do so, is there going to be any difference? Right? And the similar way, can I use rename as an option after this? Can I write rename here? Correct? So these are there are different, combinations of these possible. So I would request you all to just try out as many simple codes as possible out of whatever we have done so far. That is the session that we had on Saturday as well as today's session. Right? Practice is very important. I just want to you all to make sure that you all are doing that little bit of reading every day and that little bit of practice which is required to just make sure that you all are absolutely thorough and comfortable with whatever we have done so far, and obviously read a little bit more than what we cover in the class, right? Because keeping in mind the time constraint that is, is a 24-hour program, the whole objective is to just get you started with it. So now that you all know these options are there, that will be easier for you all to read and understand some other options in a similar way as far as Proc Print is concerned. Getting my point? Yes? Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the two things that you are going to read about and come for the next session? I hope you'll remember. Guys? Am I audible? Yeah? I'd ask you to just read about or find a solution to two things, right? What are those?
Can you use keep and drop with the Proc Print statement?
Yes, that's right. One is, can you use keep and drop with the Proc Print? What's the next one?
How do you extract data with only partial names, for instance, just the letter E?
Exactly. So just try it out. Just see if you can figure out a sort of answer to these two things. If not, don't have to worry. We'll discuss this in the next session. So any doubts in this session?
No, you did a good job.
Okay. So just keep at it. Just practice whatever we have done for the day and read the other possible options that go with it. Yeah? Okay, and in the meantime, I'll also just send across a brief reading material for whatever we have done. And let me know, do you all want me to paste this code in your chat so that you all have it, then you all have the entire set at your end? Or if you already have it, then I don't have to do it. I don't have to send it to you all. Or do you want it? Okay, just put this up. Just for your reference. Okay? Just this will help. I'm just putting it up here in the chat window. Oh, I don't think I can put the entire thing though. I'll just skip this part.
Or you can mail us.
Yeah, I'll do that. So just mail across the set of codes what we have done for the day. Okay? So we call it a day for now?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. So please keep practicing and let's catch up same time tomorrow, Steve. And Arup, let me know if you're keen and looking forward to continue with the session. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, and some of Mallikarjun is just got disconnected. I'll just catch up with him a little later. Yeah? Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Bye, Arup.
Bye, Jason.